Welcome back inside Gillette Stadium, everybody. My name is Mike Petraglia, joined as always by Patriots expert columnist for WEEI.com, Christopher Price. Following another Patriots playoff win that sends them to a fifth consecutive AFC title game, the Patriots and Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski and Julian Edelman take care of business, beating Alex Smith, Andy Reid, and the Kansas City Chiefs 27-20. It was pretty much, Chris, I thought, played out exactly the way we thought. It was a tough stone fight of a game. Patriots had trouble stopping the Chiefs early on third down, but the Chiefs could not stop the Patriots. I thought the biggest drive of the game, really arguably, was the first drive of the game. As Julian Edelman got involved, Rob Gronkowski capped it off with the first of his 2 touchdown catches of the day.
Edelman talked in the locker room just a few moments ago about how important it was to set the tone, and clearly it's important to get out and set the tone early on, but especially against a team like Kansas City that does not like to play from behind. One of the stats that I saw, and I forget who came up with it, so I'm not sure who gets credit for it, but over the course of their 11-game winning streak coming into this game, they had only trailed for 9 minutes. And so it's very, very difficult if you're Kansas City to be able to flip that around and play from behind. I thought the Patriots were able to do a great job very early on, setting the tone. They got that early touchdown. They've got out to leads of 7-3 and 14-6 at halftime. That went a long way toward determining the tone and the tempo of this game in the second half.
Chandler Jones, a lot was made of that, of course, of the week he has had. He started the game. There was no discipline coming from Bill Belichick, and he had a very, very big play in this game. He stripped Niall Davis early in the third quarter, and the Patriots converted that into a touchdown that made it 21-6. And I thought right there and then, with the Chiefs driving down, they had cut the lead down to 14-6. They had a chance to go in and really make this a very close ball game. Failed to do so. That was a big, big turning point. And I guess everybody in that Patriots locker room felt very good for Chandler Jones up until, of course, he had to leave with the what appears to be a right leg, right knee injury.
Yeah, I thought he played very well in his return. And I thought that the fact that, and we discussed this over the course of the week, would they lose focus? Would they take away from the game? I thought the Patriots did a very good job keeping their focus, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. One of the things that I think was a little bit of a concern early on, at least, to your point, was Kansas City's ability to convert on third down. We saw Alex Smith not only run for a couple of first downs, but really do a good job finding receivers in the passing game. And so I think if there's one thing to take away from this, Bill loves wins, but at the same time, he loves teachable moments. And that's going to be a teachable moment for this team going forward, whoever they end up playing in the AFC Championship game.
10 of 15 is what Kansas City was through, I believe it was 3 quarters of this game, converting third down. That is not acceptable. And when they play the AFC Championship game in 8 days, if that happens again, they are not going to the Super Bowl, I don't think.
Yeah, it is. And again, I think it's important to stress that the Patriots were able to come up with big defensive plays when they needed them. They kept Kansas City out of the end zone. They had one meaningful touchdown in the night. The last touchdown turned out not to be a difference maker. So I think that's really important. I think when you come right down to it, points, that's the ultimate barometer. When you're talking about a defense, the Patriots defense, to that point, was able to do its job. But yeah, the third down defense was not effective early on. I thought that allowed Kansas City to kind of hang around through 2+ quarters right up until that point when the Patriots were able to get that turnover.
Also, another big key point in this game, and it was done again by the Patriots defense, because Twitter exploded, Chris, during this game about the inability of the Patriots to get off the field, and there was a lot of anger and angst. But when you take a look at what the Patriots did when the Chiefs were able to flip the field, take over at the Patriots' 35-yard line, and not convert a first down, not even get a field goal attempt, they force a punt. The Patriots and Tom Brady go 98 yards, capped off by the touchdown run, the quarterback sneak by Tom Brady. I thought that was a pivotal point in the game.
That really was, because at that point, fundamentally, it was a battle of field position, and the Patriots were stacked up deep in their own end, and they weren't all that effective. They had a couple of drives that stalled out relatively early on. There were some 3-and-outs throughout the process, and offensively at that point in the game, they really weren't where they needed to be. They were able to flip it around, drive 98 yards, capped off by the Brady 1-yard scamper, not the scamper, but the 1-yard plunge into the end zone. Brady was also able to kind of wake up Gillette Stadium a little bit. He had that scamper that got him down to the 1, kind of woke up the crowd, and Julian Edelman had the great line in the locker room a few moments ago. He said, look, ask about Tom Brady's run. He said, when the Clydesdale gets running, the crowd goes wild. And so I think that was one of those turning points in the game. You could always look back at 3 or 4 major points. That was one of those incidents where Brady was not able to score, but he got the crowd into it, and they were able to feed off the crowd's energy.
And I know a lot of people saw on TV Tom Brady and Josh McDaniels going at it very intensely, and then people are going, are they getting into a fight in a playoff game like Billy O'Brien and Tom Brady back against the Redskins a couple of years ago? And as Tom Brady explained to us after the game, no, it was just a little misunderstanding. Tom Brady knows Josh McDaniels well enough to know that he's in the game. He is as intense as Tom is, and they were going to call a specific play, that specific play. Eventually, they were going to get around to it, and Tom wanted to call it right then and there, and that was the miscommunication. I love to see that kind of intensity during a playoff game. Injuries. Again, I think it's going to be a huge focal point of this Patriot team leading up to the AFC Championship game next weekend, wherever it's played. And that is because the Patriots in this game had Jamie Collins go out with a back injury. They had Dante Hightower miss significant time in the second half as they were trying to get off the field on third down. And they had Gerard Mayo banged up. And then, as we mentioned earlier, Chandler Jones goes off the field. How are the Patriots going to be able to cope?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that they have the depth along the defensive front, but when you talk about losing a guy like Jamie Collins, you talk about losing Dante Hightower, those are fundamentally the centerpiece of your defense. I think that we've seen what they've been able to do over the course of the 2015 season. You do not want to make a singular pronouncement on their availability for the AFC Championship game at this point, because obviously we have no idea what the injury is right now. But I think that if you do end up losing both of those guys, that puts a huge dent in what you want to do defensively. Again, I think you want to reserve judgment as to where they might be health-wise, at least at this point in the week. But, yeah, they're going to have to scramble if those guys are going to be on the shelf for an extended period of time.
Real quick, let's flip it to the offensive side of the ball. Patriots come out, run 12 plays on that game-opening drive, and 12 passing plays. They didn't run the ball a single time, and it ended in a touchdown, an 8-yard touchdown pass to Rob Gronkowski, and then 2 runs on the very next time they touched the ball. First 14 offensive plays were all passing plays. They essentially gave up on the run. And my question to you is that just game plan specific against this Chiefs defense?
Yeah, I do. I honestly believe that. I wrote that in the preview. Look, the fortunes of the Patriots going into this game were not going to rise and fall on the shoulders of Steven Jackson. I think that when you look at what the Patriots are able to do, what they're successful at when they have a healthy Julian Edelman, when they have a healthy Rob Gronkowski, James White, Danny Amendola, that group, you want to spread out a team like that. You want to be able to have that quick strike passing game to minimize whatever sort of offensive line issues that you might have. We saw them execute that very nicely tonight. I would say at times it was almost perfect when they were able to put together that 98-yard scoring drive, that first drive of the night. When that passing game is clicking, I don't care who you have on the other side of the ball. They're awful tough to stop.
Tom Brady, 28 of 42, 302 yards, 2 touchdown passes, the quarterback sneak for the touchdown. How do you think he played?
I think he played very well. I think that, we forgot about his injury over the course of the last week or two, the ankle issue that plagued him in the regular season finale against the Dolphins. I thought he played very well. I thought Gronkowski played very well. I thought Edelman played very well. The underrated story in this one is the fact that Brady was not sacked. Now, let's not go throwing all the praises to the offensive line, because, again, a lot of the reason why the Patriots were able to have the success that they had in the passing game was because they were able to execute that quick strike defense, which was quick strike offense. Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski, Amendola, James White, all of those guys. At the same time, you do have to give them some level of credit, because anytime that you can keep your quarterback clean going up against a Kansas City team that was one of the best teams in the league when it came to defending the pass, you got to take your hat off to him.
And Brian Stork missed a little time in the first half, had an ankle injury, but he did return, so we're assuming he's going to be good to go for the AFC Championship. Rob Gronkowski, 7 catches, 83 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Julian Edelman, in his return, 10 catches, and even century mark, 100 yards. The Patriots take care of business, beat the Kansas City Chiefs 27-20. They are in the AFC Championship for a 5th consecutive year. Inside Gillette Stadium, he is Christopher Price. I'm Mike Petraglia, WEEI.com.